Hey you guys, what's up? I wanted to make sure that I came on today to talk about National Authors Day. And so, I was thinking it'd be a little remiss of me to let the day go by without celebrating it. So, we're going to go ahead and celebrate it with the things that I've learned since becoming an author. First of all, how about them canes? All right, so all right, so these are the three books that I have in print in my hand, though this one has been pulled from the shelf on Amazon. It has been rebranded, a new name, and there is a movie that will be produced. Hey, Jasmine. There's a movie that's going to be produced next spring, and that movie is called Ticket to Love. And so this is one book. This was my first book that I felt good about. Let's put it that way. Because I did another one, which was my autobiography. And this is what I learned. So we're just jumping into what I learned right away. So I did my very, very, very first book. Took me over 10 years to write. I started in 2005 when I became a teacher, and I walked into the classroom. The kids were reading these dead authors that were, I don't know, I guess because it was an AP class, the teacher felt like they had to read these convoluted, overly complex, dry, boring stories just because they're classics. So anyway, one of the kids asked me, because I took over for the teacher because she was on maternity leave. And the student asked me, why do we have to read these people? And like it was literally my first year teaching. And I was like, I don't know. I don't know why you have to read those people because I never do read those people. And I have a pretty good grasp on literature without having read those people. So one of the first things that I learned about becoming an author happened before I even became one, and that was make your stories relevant. Tell relevant stories. Tell stories that can last through the years because they're relevant. So I wrote that first book. It was a mini autobiography. Like I said, it took me 10 years to do because I was thinking this book had to be this huge, massive 200-page thing. I had sent, because it was a nonfiction book, I had sent a query letter to an agent, like, hey, here's my story. I didn't realize that being a sexual assault victim was not unusual. Even though I knew the statistics, I didn't realize that, hey, I want to tell my story was not an unusual thing. And so I got rejected. I saved that letter because I plan on being famous one day and saying, look, these people rejected me. But they rejected me for a good reason because there was nothing special about that story. Oh, I was hurt. Don't think I wasn't. But I understand why. Because my second book, which I count as my first book, but my second book, which was this one, Giving Yourself Permission, this book makes a difference. See, what I learned as an author is just writing your story is not enough. What makes your story stand out, what makes your story different, is what it is that you have gone through, what tools you have developed, what strategies you have discovered that had helped you through your problem or in discovering something that changes the industry, whatever it is. It is the solutions, the tools that make your book worth other people reading it. So just telling your story is like you projecting, like you transferring this negative energy if it's a tragedy story, like you just transferring this negative energy to somebody and going, here's my life. And then people are supposed to feel bad and then good, but then bad, But when you write a story like this, when you're writing a book like this, you're going, this is my story. This is what I went through. This is what I discovered to help me through it. And this may help you too. Those are the kind of books I help people write. And those are the kind of stories I help people discover. And so, just so that you know, there's a challenge coming up that is going to help you discover your story, because you guys told me you didn't even know which story to use in business. So I will help you. Pay attention, keep your eyes open, it's coming. And so then somebody told me, I don't have a tragedy. I didn't go through something terrible. So what book do I have to write? Well, this book, my third book, is not about a tragedy. My third book was about something that I discovered for myself, and that I always say, a vision board is not enough. A vision board is not enough. Because when life got tough, that vision board was nothing but a hill of magazine paper, you know? So, what I mean by that is I was able to take my eyes off the vision, if you understand what I'm saying. And so when I got invited to a manifestation board party, that's when I was like, okay, I get it now. A manifestation board party is about action, not about dreaming. And so in here, I talk about how it is that I created. I took what I learned and I made it mine, because I added the other flavors that I got from my studies and my quiet time, and how I read into the scripture of, write it down, make it plain, that thing. So this is not a tragedy, but this is a lesson or something that I want to teach people. And it's basically, a vision board is not enough. Holy smokes. Yeah, I just have a new title. All right, so anyway, I'm going to retitle this. I love it. Sorry. Anyway, so again, so this is about your tragedy, the thing that you've gone through. This is one type of book. This is another book. Whenever I deal with people about this, or I walk them through this, I'm actually doing a program this month on the 24th, a live manifestation board party, and I will be letting you guys know about that later. But what was I saying? So this is just a proof, by the way, that you don't have to be talking about a tragedy. You don't have to have a sob story. But what you believe is worth going in between the pages. And so then my fourth book was this one. So like I said, this is actually being, you already had a cup. This is actually being rebranded, redone. Actually, this is not going to be reprinted. If you caught it, great. If you didn't, I have, I think, 3 more. So, I don't need, and thank you. I'll be there in a second. I think I have 3 more, maybe 3 more. But this is the screenplay. And so what I wanted to do something different, because I was sending it out to celebrities, and I'm about to do the follow-ups for them. And I wanted them to not get that big old document of the screenplay. I wanted it to be a little bit different. I wanted it to be something they can take on a plane and just read. And so that is that book. And so here's the thing that I learned as an author, as a first-time author, second, third, and fourth-time author, is this. It doesn't matter how many books you write. If you don't have a plan for your book, it's just going to sit on the shelf, and possibly your shelf. Okay? So what you want to do is figure out what it is that you want to do with your book before you even write it. It's not enough to go, I have a story. It's not enough to go, I feel called to share this thing. It's not enough to do that. What you have to do is actually have a plan in place. Now, I know that sounds blasphemous coming from me, because I'm the queen of no plan, but I'm also the queen of dusty books. Okay? So what I have learned as an author is you do have to have a plan. You do have to be in love with your books to the point where you want to tell everybody about your book. You do have to be the person who will, if you can't sell yourself, sell your message, if you know what I mean. If you wrote this book, it is because it is important to you. If you wrote this book, it is because you not only feel called to tell a story, but you feel called to help somebody with your story. So if you are that person, if you are ready to tell that story and whatever, I want you to think about, what do you want to do with it afterwards? Do you want to go into prisons? Do you want to go into schools? Do you want to go onto stages? Do you want to create programs? Do you want to create a movie? What do you want to do afterwards? Because what you want to do is going to determine how you approach the project. And what I mean by that is this. I don't mean how you write it. I really don't. And by the way, if you really want to learn how to write a book, stay tuned. But I'm not talking about how you write the book. Come on, like you can watch YouTube videos or you could try to be all academic like you were in school, like trying to impress the teacher. And let me let you know a caveat real quick. We teachers are not impressed when you guys are writing to impress the teacher. In fact, we're not impressed. Okay, so you're not writing to impress me and you're not writing to impress anybody. But if you're writing a book, then you are writing the book that you yourself more than likely needed to have. Okay, so you are talking to the younger you that needed your story, the younger you that needed your inspiration and your motivation, the younger you that needed to know that they will be okay on the other side of it. And so that means that you're not talking all convoluted and academic and hoity-toity. That means that you are having a conversation with yourself on paper. And so when you write these books, this is what I learned as an author. When you write these books, have a plan in place. Know who you want to help, know where you want to serve, and know what you want to do with your book afterwards. Don't put a single pen to paper until you do that. And I'm telling you, as somebody who could probably spark some allergies with the books that I had sitting around because I was afraid to speak my message. Honey, here is the bottom line. Your book has never been for you. It's the truth. It's never been for you. So go save your people. Let them know what they can do, what they've discovered. I don't care if you're a social media manager. The way to stand out in this crowd of all these social media managers is to be the person who tells the truth. Okay? Is to be the person who is provocative. And what I mean by provocative is you're not just following the same cyber sea of sameness. Like you are not the lemming. You are not going over the ledge. You have figured out a way. And if you figured out a way, then you would write a book that shows people the way. If you've gone through tragedy and you have figured out how to move forward through it, then you would write the book that does that. Or if you're a person who wants to be totally fictionalized, but you know that you can reach people through fiction by telling a story that deals with something that is akin to real life, even if it's in space, then you will write the book that does that. It doesn't matter which one you choose. All that matters is what's your plan. Period. So I want you guys to go out. Like I said earlier this week, if I told you you have a book, that means I truly love you. And if I love you, that means I see greatness in you, because I don't have time for people who are small people. And if I see greatness in you, then I'm asking you, prove me right. Prove me right. Because all my friends deserve to be authors. Bye, friends. I got to go and do movie night with the kids. Peace. Happy Author's Day.